Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third round of the Toyota GR Cup here, hosted by S7R. This is Tatsi, Dirty Tatsi, alongside Hovercraft here for a second time. Thank you for joining me today, Hover. How are you?
Thank you for having me back in the booth again. It was a pleasure the first time around, and I'm excited to partake in commentating for this third round of the Toyota Cup.
Yeah, we should have a lot of fun today. We got a fun track, Interlagos, a couple of fun combos at Interlagos as well. I expect lots of strategy stuff to come into play given the tire wear at Inter, but also just straight up, it's a good track for racing. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely, a lot of Interlagos is a bunch of consecutive hairpins, making for very good close quarters racing, and I think we're going to really see every driver put in the effort to control their cars today. It's going to be a pretty demanding track. It's going to be very harsh on the tires, and I think we're going to see that play out, especially in the feature race.
Yep, most certainly. Well, speaking of the cars, drivers will be in two different types of cars today. The sprint race will be in the GR4 Toyota BRZ. Are we calling? Is it the BRZ? It's not the BRZ in Toyota. That's the Subaru. It's the GR86. It's the GR86 is a Toyota. My fault, guys. I'm trying. Um, and then in the feature race will be in GR3s. GR3 class, of course, is driver choice. So not a one make there like it was last week in the GR2s and the Lexus. So this week we'll see all sorts of cars on that track for the feature race at Interlagos. The next race after this will be going to Germany. We'll be at the Nürburgring Endurance. The Nürburgring Endurance layout. So that'll be something to look forward to next week. This week, though, GR4 and GR3. Let's take a look at the series rules. We'll go through this as quickly as possible. Slipstream strength is real. What's important? Light damage for the cars here. Shortcut penalties are on. Pit lane and flag penalties are also on. There is a 10-minute qualifying session for the sprint race. That is run by a grid start with a false check. Tire wear is at 1x. Fuel usage is at 1x. Refuel rate for the sprint race is at 12 liters per second. Pretty quick. You start with 50 liters of fuel. There are two tires required. One tire required, rather. The Sports Soft for the sprint race. For the feature race, it's a racing tire there. The grid order for the feature race is decided by the sprint race, which of course is decided by that 10-minute qualifier. The only difference is that P1 through P7 are in reverse, and on that race it's a rolling start with 2x tire wear. Fuel usage is at 2x. Refuel rate is at a slow 3 liters per second. However, you do start with a full tank at 100 liters of fuel, and two different racing tire compounds are required. Our driver lineup in the Pro Series. These are actually, we were not going to read out the full lineup. Let's go straight to their standings if possible, unless this is where they stand in the order. No, this is where they stand. After round 2, we're looking at Wid up top, followed by Ryder, and then Rusty Maggots in 3rd place. The Truth sits in 4th place. Ando in 5th place in the standings. MMR Moose is in 6th. Xander in 7th. Jorge Sr. in 8th place, Dezo in 9th, and Shred in 10th place. In 11th, we're looking at KP Wilcox, Jeffries in 12th, S7R Higher in 13th, Laidler in 14th, Hot Air in 15th, Oak in 16th, Rhyme Spree in 17th place, Corridor in 18th, and Greasy in 19th place in the championship order. There are 4 different teams running. We'll go straight to their standings, as this is also a team championship here. 8 teams, rather.
The other 4 teams, yep. There are 8 teams in total with a few free agents. And then following right here is going to be their own team point standings.
That's right. You want to go ahead and read up the team standings?
Thank you. It's going to start off with being in 1st place. It's going to be S7R's Ando's Arsenal with 311 points. Followed close behindly is Chikang Bang, which is mostly RWB drivers and PHG drivers. And then the first FFR team, FFR Black. Then we're going to see in 4th place S7R's Truce Demons. Then the two NVR teams, Geneva and Redline, very close to one another, only 3 points separating them. And then closely followed behind again is going to be FFR Orange, and then S7R Xander's Zone going to be in last place with 216 points.
Thank you. Go ahead and read out the sprint rules too for this first race.
No worries. As we mentioned before, tonight's sprint race is going to be in the Toyota GR4, specifically the GT86, qualifying for 10 minutes. Then we're going to see a 14-lap sprint. It's going to be a grid start plus false check. It's going to be BOP, but brake balance is allowed to be adjusted. The racing soft is going to be pretty much the only tire we'll see. A lot of these tire wear and fuel consumption multipliers are going to be attuned for sprint racing, so 1x tire wear, 1x fuel usage, 12-liter refuel rate. Everyone starts with 50 liters, but we're not going to be really expecting anybody to be in the pits. It's going to be in the afternoon. Weather is random, and then, of course, the time multiplier is going to be at 1x.
Thanks a bunch there. The racing this season is brought to you by Trails and Custom Construction Company. Thank you to them for helping make this possible. Do check them out for any of your home construction, and I do believe they also do commercial construction needs. Well, it's almost time. I'm going to try to get in here and gain some insight into what's going on the track, but I believe that almost everyone is in the room getting ready to go and start this 10-minute qualifier here. Are you pretty good around Interlagos, Hover?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those fundamental tracks. It's going to be pretty much a driver's favorite up and down the grid. We're also probably going to see a lot of drivers giddy to drive this in the Pro-Am and the amateur splits. It's a very much a community favorite. As I said before, a lot of this track profile is going to be the continuous hairpins in the middle sector. So we're going to see a lot of people trying to trail break through those, very short but very slow corners.
Yeah, absolutely. This track is so cool. I enjoy it now more than I did, I would say, even just a few months ago. I've just gotten a bit better at it. It's one of those tracks that can be a real nightmare if you're not good at it. It's difficult. It's technical, but it's a lot of fun once you've got it.
Absolutely. And soon here we will have qualifying starts. Fairly soon. And yep, here we go.
All right, they're out on track here, just trying to get some warmth into those tires and, of course, make some space for themselves on track. This is Wid, our championship leader, going slowly, making space for himself here on his out lap before he starts a flyer. With 10 minutes, you should get a few flying laps around here. I think a lap, definitely less than 2 minutes for sure in these cars, yeah?
Absolutely. I think we're going to be seeing, at least in these group fours, going to be the pole is going to be around 1 minute 48. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bunch of these drivers stuck in the 149s.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the difference between 148 and 149 is it's harder than you think. It's more than you think. Every corner on this track counts. Every corner requires something different from the corner before it. Like I said, it's such a technical place here.
Absolutely, and now we're seeing Rusty start being the first hot lapper of the lobby, going down into turn 1 in second gear, trying to cut back to get into a good rotation of turn 2, and then the long left-hander going down the first mini straight.
Yeah, it looks like the truth is pretty close behind him, which is surprising. I mean, I guess in GR4 you don't have a lot of aero, so maybe dirty air isn't as much of a factor here, and so maybe the truth just looking for slipstream. I see Shred right behind them, so these first 4 drivers at least not trying to make so much space for themselves on the track. Some of them hoping for a toe up that long back straight, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. Honestly, this slipstream, especially on the main straight, is worth around 3 to 4 tenths in Group 4 alone. Like you said, these cars don't have a lot of downforce, but the drag is noticeable down that long straight. So that's what everyone is trying to do. Everyone's trying to be far away enough where the dirty air isn't affecting them, but close enough where they get a tow going down that main straight.
Yeah. Let's see if some of them get rewarded. Some of the cons, though, of course, is if the car in front of you messes up, there's not a lot of places for you to go. It's a fairly wide track for these cars, but in some of those corners, especially in that middle sector there, somebody has a spin or a crash, you're going to be really hindered. It's going to be hard to get your momentum back as well to get back into the groove of things there.
Absolutely, it's going to be a killer if you do get messed up, and if you get pushed off your line, or possibly you flinch, and whatever happens, getting off your line, especially going down that main straight, is going to be a massive headache. And
That's right. Rusty just sorry. Go ahead.
I'm wrong. I was thinking we were going into the 149s, but we are actually in the 139s, so I was just off by 10 seconds there.
That's correct. Rusty going fastest, but then immediately Ryder comes back with a 139.2. So these are first laps. Again, tires are still a little bit cold on these hot laps, so I think we're going to go even faster than the 39.2 that Ryder is set here. Some people still settling in, and I don't know who that is off to the side. Oh, okay, I think that was somebody just trying to reset themselves, and now Ryder off, unfortunately, and also getting himself back into the pits. So I guess we're on board with Wid now. Not on board, just watching Wid goes purple in this first sector here. This track is 3 sectors, I believe, right, Hover? 3 sectors.
Yep. 3 sectors.
It's a fairly long track for just 3 sectors, but the sectors are coherent. They kind of make sense.
Yeah, the middle sector is pretty much all the hairpins. The first sector is going to be that long chicane, and then the long left-hander, and then the third sector is pretty much all the uphill. But a lot of this track kind of folds into itself, as you can tell, with the multiple hairpins. So it's technically long, but it's deceptively short.
That's right. The lap around here, deceptively quick. Like you said, you thought it'd be 148s, 149s. We're actually looking at 139, so about 10 seconds quicker than that. And so far, nobody's beat Ryder's time of that 139.227. So a little surprised there that we haven't seen anything, though we have some folks coming up the hill now. Let's see what Wid drops. He's been going purple since we've been with him.
Yep, and he's stuck right behind that toe, so it's going to be a 138.9. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a pole lap right there, but we probably have another 2 or 3 hot laps, judging by the time. Plenty of time for Ryder or anyone else to respond to that.
I'm not surprised at all. Now, tell me, Hover, maybe you can give me some insight that I don't see here, but I'm seeing a lot of folks setting that fast lap and then jumping into the pits. For what reason? Tire wear's not on. These cars aren't that heavy. Certainly, you're not overheating the tire after just one hot lap. What seems to be... What's the deal?
There's 2 main reasons why you will want to do it, especially when the tire wear is so low. There is a very strange occurrence where, on the high tire wear tracks, even though tire wear may be off or very low, you will be overheating the tires a little bit, and these drivers are so in tune with their cars that they will be feeling it, and going back into the pits will just reset those tire temps. The other thing, though, is you could just simply want to have a lot of space to yourself, and have a calm of mind, right? You want to have all the space to yourself. You want to have a completely clear track ahead of you, and for example, like Wid, who already set a very good lap, it may not be worth it to risk yourself going into the slipstream of other cars and possibly crashing. It could just be way better to give yourself plenty of space and just try to see what you can improve without the slipstream. Right? A lot of of qualifying is the mental game, is having complete confidence in your car, and just having that extra space goes a long way on that end.
Got it. Understood. Well, I figured maybe it had something to do with tire temperature, but I didn't realize that folks would go ahead and just reset it. I usually just kind of stay out and take an easy lap, but that's me. I figure it ends up being about the same as going into the pits and having to take an out lap, etc. Though I suppose that doesn't completely reset your tire temps, which is what everyone's going for right now. How much longer do we have left here? Just a couple minutes. 2 minutes, 20 seconds for folks. We're with Ando right now as he enters the second sector. Just trying to keep it nice and neat through here. He's sitting in ninth place. He's got an opportunity to improve for sure. Very nice and neat there through turn 6. Coming through some of the more difficult hairpins. I think that's Pinarino. I can't pronounce anything in Portuguese, by the way, so I'm gonna mess up a lot of these corner names. Might just call them by their corner numbers if I can remember them. Mergulo here has got one last corner, one last braking zone at least before it is all full throttle coming up this final hill. He's gonna pass through Subido dos Boxes. It's going to keep a nice, neat, tight line through here in this slower car. No need to take up all of the track like you would in a Formula car or something that's a little bit quicker. A shorter line or tighter line is a shorter line, and Ando is going to not improve. He's actually 7/10 down on that lap, but he's still got a little bit more time. He can get one more in.
Absolutely. It's, one more lap for pretty much everyone right now. There's going to be, your final one. You already set your bankers, so, you might as well go to the absolute limit. As I say that, Wade does get a small improvement, a 138.8. So, getting into the pits and coming out in space seemed to have worked for him.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't seen any new lap records set in a little bit here until Wid just set his there. And yeah, we did see Wid going to the pits. This is about as much time as he would have needed to take that out lap and put in another flyer. Here comes Ryder, a.k.a. Yagami, with a... Oh, I missed it. Missed what that
139, was. I believe. Yeah, 139.1.
139.1, gotcha. So still not close to Wid, and he sits in second place, 3/10 back from Wid. So far nobody's beaten him. We're with Hot Air now, finishing up the second sector. He sits in 11th place. I'm sure he doesn't want to be there. He's 1.4 seconds off the pace, almost 1.5 seconds. So this is his last chance to see if he can do something that's, not last place. And as I say that, the final lap message popping up on screen there for us. Oh no, big wiggle there, and that is going to lose him anytime he might have gained in the last couple of sectors. Going up that hill, you don't want anything to compromise your acceleration. He's going to be feeling that all the way through until he crosses the line, unfortunately, here. And I'm guessing it's not going to be an improvement because of that bobble. Sure enough, he loses half a second down, rather, to his best time.
Yep, it's unfortunate, as you said, he got loose on the exit of that final corner, and that, it basically sealed his fate. Anything that he tried to improve in the first two sectors was just out the window, unfortunately. But, this is just qualifying. There's no points here. It's all about what happens in the sprint race, so plenty of time to recover.
Plenty of time, and yeah, it is just a sprint race, just a few laps here today. I believe we're doing 14, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that, because I'm not good at memorizing anything, quite frankly. But so it matters, right? 14 laps is not a whole lot of time for you to make up any time if you mess up. So track position is super important here, but ultimately there's two races here. There's this one, and then there's the feature race in the end, which, depending on where you finish the sprint race, could be favorable for you to win the feature, as we saw last week with the Truth, who finished a sprint race, kind of a mediocre finish, mid pack there, P7, but that got him pole position for the feature race, and he did really well there.
Absolutely, 7th place in the sprint race is the tactical pole for the feature race. So, you get a good advantage at the beginning of the feature race, but just you are finishing 7th. So whoever is in first, who's starting 7th in the feature, well, they definitely have pace. And while it's an advantage, it doesn't exactly last throughout the entire race. But we just finished quali with pole position with a 38.8. Behind him, Ryder with a 39.1, Shredda 39.3, Rusty 39.4, Corridor with a slightly slower 39.4, Naranjo, 39, 39.5. Truth with 39.6. Stig with a 39.9. And then Ando with a 39.9, bit slower. Jeffrey with a 40 flat. And then Ha'ayir with a 1 minute 40.3. That's the grid that's being set right now. Pretty soon we'll start this sprint race. And do you have any predictions, Toddy?
Yes, of course. Turn 1 and turn 2, there shall be spins going into the Senna S's there. That's just, I mean, sorry, those corners are just kind of diabolical, quite frankly. So I expect to see some mistakes made there and some races really affected. But I think that the key to this race is going to be keeping momentum. These aren't the fastest cars in the world. You're already in GR4, which is kind of a slow class, but you're on top of that. You're on a car that doesn't accelerate very well, but you're at a track that requires speed and momentum, right? The second sector there is super slow. You have a lot of hairpin corners that you're going into and out of, and you don't have the horsepower to really squirt out of them. So you're trying to maintain momentum through there. Certainly the whole last couple of corners there, turns 12 through 15 before you get into the start finish line. All of that is momentum. It all starts at turn 12, Yunsao, just trying to make sure that you flick it up that hill and get on the gas as quickly as possible. Anyone who can keep that in mind will do well in this race.
Yeah, with these Group 4 cars, as you said, they don't have a lot of horsepower, so because of that, they're not entering corners very quick. They're not exiting corners very quick. So a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to, keep their, minimum apex speed as high as possible, right? That when you're doing the corner, right, there's the good old-fashioned slow in, fast out. With the Group 4s, you actually want to keep your apex speed a little bit higher. So I think, just keeping up the momentum is going to be crucial. I think tire wear is also going to be crucial. While we shouldn't expect anyone to visit the pits this sprint race, we should, take note of all the drivers and the tire wear that they're going to be, picking up throughout the race, because tires will matter by the end. I think lap 10 will pretty much be the turning point to see where the driver is going to have and who can really push the end from there.
That's right. That's right. I'm really looking forward to it here. All right. So we are just waiting on the notification from the race director that they're ready to start here. Grid is being set as we speak. And then we have 14 laps of this, a quick break, and then 29 laps in GR3 cars around here, which should be a real treat. The GR4s too.
Oh yeah, both of these races are going to be fun, and that's just to the nature of the track. Interlagos, as I said before, community favorite across the entire Gran Turismo community, and we are going to start the sprint race right here, right now. And we should be turning onto the race, onto the grid.
Yep. Much like last week, I wish I were in this race. Of course. Now, these are standing starts with false starts being penalized. It shouldn't be a big deal in these cars. They should grip up just fine off the line, especially on racing soft tires. So for most people, just keep your foot on that brake or on the e-brake button. Just let it go. No need to really modulate the throttle coming off. And sure enough, they are off. Ando is going to be sitting first. We have a glitched order. It should, I believe, fix itself once we pass the first sector marker there. But I was like, yeah, Endo is not first. Wid is in first place here, followed by Ryder, aka Yagami, and close behind them, I saw Shred and Rusty Maggots kind of side by side there. I think we're too wide for second and third place there. These two getting through turn 3 neatly. Yeah, sure enough, not second and third, but fourth and fifth going side by side. Naranjo and Rusty Maggots, followed by several others who were just kind of watching this battle play out to see if anything's going to happen, to see if any advantages can be taken at the start of this race. But I think lap 1 is about survival, right? However, it's just kind of like let's get through it. Let's get into formation, and then we can start really racing each other.
That's pretty much every driver's main priority on lap 1. But Rusty did lose 2 positions. He started 3rd. Now he's down to 5th. Shredda and Naruhiro, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry if or Naruto, my bad. Move up 1 position. Let's see. Naruto is Oak, actually. Sorry, I guess my screen is a little bit glitching out. But Corridor in 6th, Truth in 7th, Stig in 8th, Jeffrey in 9th, Ha'ayir in 10th, and Ayendo is in 11th. Right behind him, but going back to the front, Wid having 8/10 ahead of Ryder. Ryder had a good run into the first corner, but wasn't able to capitalize with an overtake.
That's right. And once you've missed your first opportunity to pass around here, it can be pretty hard to try to catch and pass again because, as we mentioned, dirty air is a thing, though shouldn't affect these cars too badly. But now you're looking at cars that have almost identical, well, not identical, almost, but identical performance, right? You're braking the same as the other guy's braking, acceleration, etc. It is going to come down to driver skill and where your strengths are on this track to even be able to catch back up to Wid and try to make a pass for Ryder here. Easier said than done. I mean, we've seen Wid do a lot of racing, and very, very rarely do we catch somebody either beating him outright on pace or him making a mistake that allows someone to beat him. So uphill battle.
It is an uphill battle for Ryder, but if we go down to 9th, we see this nice little train. Jeffrey in 9th, right behind Stig, Corridor, and Truth. These hairpins are a little bit harder to overtake since you don't have a lot of speed going out of them. But we're gonna see Jeffrey right behind Stig in the tow. I think we may see a move going into turn 1. Gets a little bit wide on the exit, loses a little bit of speed up the hill, but he's still in that tow. Stig is in the tow of Corridor. The slipstreams might cancel out each other. We'll see right here.
Yeah,
trying to shift as late as possible. Yep.
That's right. Everyone should be getting equal tow because everyone's just about equally placed. It's gonna come down to how they separate themselves in the twisty stuff. But Jeffrey just trying to stick with it, trying to stick with Stig. You can see him being really efficient with just his shift points and everything in this car. Obviously, it's not helpful to have extra shifts for no reason there, but I don't think he's looking to necessarily gain anything just yet. I think he just wants to hold on and see what he's going to get.
Yep, eventually this pack is going to spread itself out, and the front cars will lose slipstream, and that's when everyone wants to pounce on the guy ahead. But as you said, everyone's just trying to sell it, and everyone's just trying to make sure that they keep the slip. The slipstream is the most important thing around here, especially in these cars. Like I said, that main straight that alone is a rough around 3 to 4 tenths.
That's right. That's right. So that is Jeffrey in 9th place. We'll keep an eye on that pack there. Jeffrey, Stig in front of him, Ando just behind him, and I think that's Hot Air behind Ando there. Ooh, Jeffrey loses the rear end just a little bit there. He manages to hold on to it going into the first of the hairpins. That hairpin is definitely one of the more difficult corners. Probably the first. No, it's actually the second difficult corner. Oh, and in the background, who was that spinning way off? I think that was 9th place or 10th place now. 11th actually. That was Corridor. Huge spin for Corridor. Unfortunately, going down the hill towards Yuncao, down Margulo, I think is where that was. Oh no, that was coming uphill. My fault. Going through Yunsao, he got on the grass on the outside, which of course is slippery and unfortunately just spits him out onto the left-hand side. So now he is all alone, 7.3 seconds back, and he's going to have a lonely rest of the sprint race. I don't think there's enough laps for him to catch up and race anyone unless someone else also has a spin. Naranjo Oak with a half-second penalty here. Hover, go ahead.
Yep, Truth right behind him, but Oak is getting racing behind Rusty. Will he go for a move here? He thought about it. He looked down the inside, but went back. He gets onto the inside. fully
Got
passes
him there.
Rusty right now, but he does have a penalty going up that hill. It's going to cost him around 1.5 to 2 seconds. I think Oak may be losing 3 or 4 positions by the time they go to the hill.
That's right. I mean, had to get the position done, right? Had to get the pass done just to say, hey, I can do it. But also, it can be helpful to get in front of somebody, even when you've got a half-second penalty there, because you maybe catch their coattail and get their slipstream coming back past the penalty zone. I don't think he's going to get that much space to do that, but at least he's got another car in between himself. Maybe he can tuck in behind the truth here as he takes that penalty now. Oh, a little bit weird. He stayed out of the racing line there. I think Rusty was just looking to get as much of a toe as he could from him. Almost hit him, but sure enough, Oak able to slot in behind Truth and not lose too much time there. He still got an opportunity. Meanwhile, Truth is all over Rusty. Yeah, all over the back of that 86. I think he sees first through third running away, and maybe wants to get around to try and get up front there.
Yep, Truth could be faster than Rusty in this stage, and he's really close. Will he go for a move? He doesn't, stays behind patiently. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see the turn 1.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't try to make the move there, though. It's so hard to make a clean move there and make a fast pass there. I'm guessing he'd rather catch up to first through third than outright make a pass on Rusty. Or at the very least, if he's going to pass, he's going to want to pass him cleanly so he doesn't lose too much time. And right there in Decido, it's often a losing game to try and get 2 cars through there. Okay, but Rusty definitely holding him up. It's quite clear because it's not just Truth, right? It's Oak back there, and then behind Oak, you've got Stig. So Rusty's got to get out of the way or find some speed. Might get put out of the way.
That's what Rusty needs to do right now. Yep. I think, but I think Rusty should preserve his position as long as humanly possible. It's, if he doesn't have the pace right now, it seems very unlikely that he's going to find the pace later on. So right now, I think Rusty just wants to defend because he doesn't really have anything to gain, right? Third place is how far ahead. It's 3.5 seconds. Realistically, he's not going to be able to close that gap. So Rusty, I think his best interest in mind right now is just to try to keep his position.
Just keep his position, keep these cars behind him, and it is what it is. If they're not ever able to get into podium contention, he's going to try to hold on to fourth. That makes sense to me, especially given that there are no pit stops in this race. There's not much in the way of strategy. It is outright pace and track position there. Ooh, a little bump from Oak on the Truth for that pass. I think he might need to give it back if there was a little bit of a bump and run there, but that is a change for position. Oak Naranjo into 5th place over the Truth, and now he's going to chase down Rusty and see what he can do. Did I hear that we have a replay on that? Okay, we do have a replay on that. We're looking at Oak. This is chase cam from Oak's view. He gets in there, a little bit of a tap. I mean, it's rubby. I wouldn't call it dirty. I don't think he pushed him. I think he touched him, and even if there was a little bit of a push, it took the Truth off his line there. It wasn't anything serious, and it doesn't look like he was purposely trying to bump and run him there. I think you just race on at that point. That just is what it is.
I think feels the same because he's right behind Rusty. 3.5 tenths. Let's see if he does go for a late brake maneuver. You can go for that, especially if you get to the first apex first, but he's a bit too far away. I think he's going to try to line him up going into turn 4.
Yeah, a little bit too far for a move for my comfort there. Almost 3.5 tenths. But yeah, setting him up, or at least letting him know that he's there. He did still brake pretty late behind him. Just kind of letting him know, hey, I am wanting to make a move here. Maybe throw him off his line a little bit, make him a little bit nervous. I think ultimately it did lose him a little bit of time, but nothing too serious. He'll easily catch back up to him. But he's got to be careful. He has to make this pass cleanly. He basically can't let the truth get in front of him, and of course behind the truth there's Stig right there too. So if you mess that pass up, you potentially lose one position, maybe even two. Stig's a little further back than he probably wants to be though.
Yep, a little bit, just 1.5 seconds right there. But I think the other thing that they need to, keep in mind is don't let the pressure, don't let the adrenaline get them a penalty, right? It's very easy to go over the white lines here and catch yourself a half-second penalty there and there. So, these guys, while they're, in the fight, they need to keep track of their track limits.
They do. Track limits around here are a little bit strict, and actually as you were saying that, we looked at Jeffrey and he had a half-second penalty that he probably picked up for track limits, and he himself is in a train as well, a slipstream train that he may lose because of this penalty. I didn't really get a look at who was around him and how they were set up, but he may end up losing his toe because of it. Oak around Rusty coming into turn one. He makes it happen before the braking zone there. So another change of position. Rusty does lose fourth place. He's down in the fifth, and now the truth probably thinking, okay, well, me too. Maybe I could do that as well. Couldn't make it happen before, but he's got to catch back up to try. Oh, and immediately in the braking, gets right up to Rusty there. I think Oak kind of slowed him down. Oak out wide. He picks up a penalty, and it ends up slowing him down. He's got to wait to get on the throttle. So Rusty getting a nose up ahead of him there. Oak not easily giving it up. He's got the inside for this uphill right-hander, and he is going to keep his position. But he is looking to lose fourth place once he has to serve that penalty in just a few corners here. Man, we talked about penalties. Like, we're literally, as we're talking about them, people are getting them. The track penalties around here are they're not harsh. I wouldn't call them harsh, but they are kind of strict, and the curves are really big and slippery, so it's kind of easy to end up going over the line and picking up a penalty. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think sensitive is the best word to use here.
Yes, sensitive for sure. And these two cars gonna slide around the truth, and the truth gonna try to catch up to their coattails and just hang on for a toe there before Stig can take a position, though he may be closer to Stig now than he is to Oak.
Truth going down the inside of turn one, breaks a little bit later, gets to the apex first, and Truth solidifies his fourth place. Does Rusty have any pace to make a sort of a comeback? I don't know, but Oak is right behind, and Stig is right behind. Stig is actually now really in this battle for sixth and possibly fifth.
He is because of Oak's penalty there. Yeah, absolutely. And yep. I think I was saying the truth got the penalty, which was wrong, obviously. But yeah, because of that penalty, Stig might have just picked himself up one though. I think he just went over the curb a little bit much. We'll have to see if he has picked one up. No penalty for him there. I thought it was marginal. It was close. But yeah, he's fully back in it now. Ando nowhere to be seen. He's in the background, right? But he's just not got the pace to stay up with these guys, even with all the back and forth and the positional changes and the penalties. Like, what's he got to do? We saw him struggling to get out of 9th place in qualifying. He's an 8th in the race here.
I think he just needs to have luck for something to happen up in front of him, right? Because Ando is able to see all the way up to 4th with Truth. And if one of these guys gets a little bit of an opportunistic mindset and possibly hits one or two off the track, Ando can easily pick that up. We hope it doesn't happen, but that's kind of what Ando needs to have right now. He doesn't exactly have the pace to catch up to this four-car train. Ooh. As I say that, Oak is looking for the inside, but doesn't fully make it. No, Rusty's still ahead of turn 2, going down turn 3, but he's out of the slip, and Oak might get a little bit feisty. He is in the slip. Will he go for a move here? We'll see.
I think Oak just missed his braking in the turn 1 there, because who did that benefit? He didn't get a position. Rusty's now even further back from the truth, so they're both missing that toe. I don't think he meant to do that from as far back as he was, and I think he's lucky that Rusty missed the apex. Actually, because I don't even think Rusty knew that was about to happen. Whew.
Regardless, these two guys got out of it perfectly fine. So yeah, Oak is still close right behind. Is Rusty in? He's barely out of Truth's slipstream. But Stig is getting closer and closer. He's entering it. He's entering closer and closer for every single time that Oak and Rusty go side by side, or have to fight for a corner.
He is. So this four-way battle for fourth continues. It's starting to become more of a three-way battle for fifth as Truth continues to run away with all his clean air. But like you said, if he or anyone back here has something happen to them, Ando's not far behind. So that'll bring another car right back into the mix as we work lap 10 of 14 here, starting lap 11. So we're almost done with this race. And this is the battle. This battle has been going on the entire time. I think up front they look a little bit spread out as I look on the map here, first through third, no one near one another. This is the fight on tracks, this battle for fourth.
Yep.
Well, right now, Stig doesn't have to work too hard. Honestly, if he doesn't want to, right? Like you said, 7th place is the strategic place in the sprint race. You get 7th here, you get pole position for the feature race. However, Ando is right there, so he can't be too complacent, because then if Ando gets the position, now he's just 8th. Now he's nothing. He's just mid-pack in what is surely going to be also a slipstream race. But this time he won't have the advantage of having the same performance as everyone else around him. He'll be in however his car choice performs.
Yep. As we're saying that, Oak did get into the inside going into, I think that was turn 6, I think. But regardless, Oak is now ahead of Rusty. Does Stig now have the pace to catch Rusty and pass him? That's the real question.
Don't know, but shout out to Rusty, because it's been a long time since I pointed out that he was holding this whole pack up, and he's managed to hold his own. He'd only lost one position up until this point, right? And he's still managed to stay with this pack. So just wanted to give him a shout out. We see you, Rusty. I know the pace is probably getting a little bit better as he races around these folks, but the race is almost over. Just got to try to hang on for 6th place here. And then a short break, and then we're in a whole different set of cars. Stig, do you think Stig wants to make that move? Like I said, Stig's in a good place. Sitting pretty in 7th.
I would. Especially just in terms of the long championship, right? Every single point is super valuable. Yep, exactly. So that 6th place points, while it may not be a humongous gain, having that is really important. And, while 2nd on the grid for the next race isn't exactly first, with a rolling start, there really isn't any chance of Stig, being able to go into turn 1 and challenging for that position. So I think, yeah, as I say that, Wid is getting a little bit out of shape, and now Ryder is only 3/10. He has the slipstream. I don't know if he's going to make it into turn 1, but this is definitely the best opportunity he's had all race.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see Wid get a little bit out of shape there, lose a little bit of momentum headed towards Yunsao. But so far, going up the hill, Ryder hasn't had that much of an advantage. I don't think he was fully in the slip the way he was chasing him up that hill there. So Wid survives into turn 1. But is he having trouble keeping that car on track? I mean, we're starting to see a bit of tire wear. The front right on Ryder's car is a little bit low. It's in better shape than Wid's. This is Wid's here. So Wid's front right struggling. Front left not looking too great itself. But that front right tire is a tire that you're going to lean on a lot on this track. lots of long left-handers, and corners like this are where he's going to struggle with that tire. Let me see. Certainly, Yunsao turn 12 as you head towards the back straight. That's going to be a corner where he may not be able to get on the throttle as quickly as Ryder, and that might make all the difference going to like T1 here. If I'm Ryder, I stay patient. I'm all over the back of Wid right now. I'm going to stay right here and see if I can get a better exit out of Yunsao. See himself setting up really, really well there for turn 19, turn 10 rather, just trying his absolute best to throw Wid off. Ooh, does he do something here? No, but he forces Wid to go a little defensive. And if he can get that exit,
which he did.
That is a fantastic exit right there. Yep, Wid is in trouble, and now Ryder really trying to make sure he is in that big hole of air punched by Wid's car. Is Wid going to stay defensive into turn 1? Looks like it. Ryder's going to go all the way out wide to try and square off turn 1 a little bit better. See if he can't get an undercut. Wid's going to beat him to the apex. Manages to park it and saves himself some headache, and he doesn't get past. Well defended by Wid. Good attempt by Ryder for sure.
Yeah, this
One
is
more lap.
This is his last opportunity. This is really the last corner Ryder can make a move on Wid. Wid makes a defensive move for the inside. Ryder does not get a better line on the outside. But he does have a run out of this corner.
He does
goes
get a
on
run.
The inside. Now
Absolutely.
He's on the outside of the next corner. He might be able to finish the move here.
If he can be brave on the brakes here, and he is, kind of cuts Wid's nose off just a little bit there. Wid kind of has to back out of it, and that is a pass for first place by Ryder. And now it's going to be really difficult for Wid to get anything back. None of these corners are easy to pass in. All Ryder has to do is keep it to the inside, keep it tight. Of course, if you miss your apex around here, then somebody can absolutely get their nose in and just nudge you out of the way. But if Ryder can hit his marks, stick to his line here, I think he's got it. I think he's got the win.
Yep, I think so. I think he just has better tires than Wid overall, and I think that made all the difference in this final few laps.
That's
Wid
right, and
made
this would have been
somewhere.
He did make a mistake, and this last corner was the last one where it really mattered. Ryder does a great job going up it, so now we follow him as he climbs his way up the hill towards the start-finish straight. A last-minute pass for him in the second sector of the last lap, and that is the first-place finish for Ryder. Wid will take second. Here comes Shred for third place, and then behind him, that whole train of cars. Truth is going to take fourth. Oak Naranjo, he's coming in with a 1.5 second penalty, so actually Rusty will take fifth. Oak will take sixth place. Stig comes in seventh, Ando in eighth, and Hot Air in ninth. Corridor now crossing over in 10th. He never recovered after that spin, but Jeffrey coming in 11th. Ooh, look at that right front tire. That's gone completely for Jeffrey there, so not doing a very good job managing that tire. That is your sprint race finish. I wonder what happened to Oak. 1.5 seconds. We missed it, unfortunately. That is a huge penalty to take, and as you see, it cost him a position because wasn't able to actually take the penalty, which adds another half second on top of that. Turns out to be a 2-second penalty, as you see on the finish order here. Why don't you go through that finish order for us one more time here before we switch to the next thing?
Yep, no worries. As we're seeing, right here, right now, Ryder was able to get that last lap maneuver done, granting him the overall win, and then Wid right behind, about 7 times behind, then Shredder in third, Truth in fourth, Rusty behind in fifth by a second gap. Oak getting a 2-second penalty. It was 1.5 on the track, but as Gran Turismo rounds to the next full number, he gets a full 2 seconds. Stig in seventh, meaning he will take pole for the full feature race. Ando in eighth. And then finishing out, it's going to be Hot Air in ninth, Corridor in 10th, and then Jeffrey in 11th. That is the feature's full results, or the sprint full results, my bad. And soon we are going to be starting the full feature race, starting the Group 3 cars.
Yes. Okay, man. What a race! What a race! Especially that mid pack race for fourth there for a while, just going back and forth, getting penalties, making passes on track, and then definitely got a nice treat there with a last minute pass for first place. What do you think for this feature race? We do see Stig in pole position. It's not easy to pass around here. What do you think? Do we see him dominate again like we did like we saw the truth at Deep Forest last week? Trial Mountain.
I think
Sorry.
I think so, and that's very possible. But really quick, let's just go over the feature race rule set. Obviously, we're still staying in Interlagos, and for all Group 3 rounds, all the drivers are able to select their own personal Group 3. It's 29 laps around here. Obviously, the qualifying is going to be based off the sprint, but first through 7th of the sprint race is going to be flipped around to 7th takes pole, and then respectively. It's going to be a rolling start. BOP, but brake balance and aero are allowed to be adjusted for every single car. But everyone does need to enter the pits at least once because 2 race compounds are going to be required. This race, we're going to see a lot more tire wear and fuel usage, both of them being at the 2 times multiplier. Refuel rate at 3 liters. Everyone starts at 100 liters, and the race is going to be set in the evening. Random weather, time multiplier at 1x.
Evening is fun. Have you ever raced around here at night?
Not at night, but I think I've done it once or twice in the evening. Typically, all my actual races are done in the pure bright day. I don't know if this track could be raced in night in real life. I don't know if they have floodlights installed here. I could be wrong, but WEC doesn't race here for the night. I know that.
I'm not sure either, and I'm pretty sure that the Grand Prix, the Formula One Grand Prix, is also always during the day. And we'll have to see, because in the game, I feel like sometimes when it says evening, quote unquote, it's not full night, so it might not even actually be dark at the track. Because I can't picture it in my head driving here at night, even in the game. But if it's evening or night or whatever, either way, track temperature will be a little bit cold. This track is really hard on tires, right? Rough track on tires. A cold track is a slippery track, and so you'll get a lot of scrubbing through there. What are you thinking as far as strategies, or have you spoken to anyone already about their tire strategy around here?
Well, just so happened that a little birdie told me that the expected strategy is everyone is probably going to start on mediums. They're going to see the medium tires to around lap 14 to 17, and then they're going to finish out the softs, which is, depending on when they pit, is anywhere from 12 to 15 laps. Unless they start on softs, which would, then flip the strategy around. If you start on softs, we will probably see them go to lap 12 to 15 and then finish it out on mediums. No one is expected to go onto the hards as they would last too long, but they're too slow. But the interesting thing is that depending on these cars, I think you could possibly do the full race distance without refueling.
Depending on the car, possibly. That's so hard though, especially with that run up to the start finish line, being uphill, full throttle. I would imagine obviously maybe the torquier cars could probably short shift their way up there, but some of these cars are gonna have to run those revs up. So yeah, I guess it will depend on the car.
Yep, I think if anyone does attempt, because the advantage of not refueling in the pits is at the minimum you get roughly 2 seconds of an advantage, right? The
Right.
animation in this game for the pit crew to simply put in the hose into your car, even if you don't refuel at all, right? That animation is at least worth 2 seconds. Of course, multiply that by the actual fuel that everyone is refueling, it's a decent jump in the pits. And if you're close behind somebody, right, you could be 1 second behind. If you choose to not refuel, you could automatically jump them and be 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds ahead of them. Mind you, that's going to be at the cost of heavy fuel saving, especially into the middle sector with all the hairpins. We're not going to see, I think, anyone really fuel save going down the main straight and the second main straight. But I wouldn't be surprised if one or two people really short shift in that middle sector.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Yeah, that middle sector, it makes sense. You don't need the best acceleration that your car can give you because the next corner is coming up so quickly. So that's definitely not an issue there. And yeah, back straight, no short shifting probably. I guess, yeah, we'll see. Fuel saving, super important, especially with it being such a long pit stop here, like you said. So we'll see who's got what as far as advantages go. I do want to see what folks are driving while we're waiting for folks to start. I think we'll be going any minute now, so let me see if I can take a quick look. Oh, of course, they're jumping into the pits when I can see. Ando's in the GTR. So probably not much fuel saving going on in that thing. I don't think it does very well with short shifting, but maybe in that middle sector or even going to fuel map 2 or 3 in that. Got another GTR and the AMG for Ryder. So the AMG GT is a great car, easy to drive, and yeah, big torque monster. So that one should see some fuel savings there. Shred in the Aston Martin, I believe that one is a V8, right? V8 Vantage?
12.
It's a 12. That one's a 12, so probably not short shifting that thing very much, I would imagine.
No, if I remember
Well,
correctly, the Aston is a little bit decent on fuel, if I remember.
okay. Nice. The truth in the 458, which probably one of the best looking GTE cars in that era for sure. I haven't driven that car in this game in GT7, but I remember it not being the most fun as far as the mid-engine cars go to drive it at tracks like this with so much elevation change and so much direction change. How is it now? Do you know?
It's decent. The advantage is that since it's rear engine, the front tires are going to be a little bit more protected, which is important around here. I think that's going to play a huge significance because the tire wear is expected to be worse here than at Trial Mountain.
100%.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess
Truth
you're
will
right.
have the advantage there.
Big advantage there for sure. And I think when it's acting right, it's a pretty decent handler, which this is for sure a handling track, if any track is. Let's see. We got Oak in the M6. Now that's a little bit surprising. Those twin turbos. I mean, this car's gotten easier to drive over the years for sure, but I can imagine that two turbos kicking in when you're already in a big V8 in the middle of a slow corner isn't fun.
Nope, but as we say that, we're going to be starting here really soon.
Yes, we are. It's a rolling
The
start this
game
time.
is. Yep, and we are starting as we said before. Stig finished 7th, so he takes the pole. Behind is Oak, Rusty, Truth, Shred, Wid, Ryder, Ando, Hot Air, Corridor, and Jeffrey.
That's right.
And we are green.
And we are green. The Rusty already looking to make a move. Not Rusty, sorry, Oak already looking to make a move there. No, that was Rusty on Oak, but he doesn't make anything of it. They stay in the same order. Oak remains in second place. Naranjo there. Rusty Maggots in fourth. The Truth behind them in third, fourth there. Side by side for Wid and Shred going into Decido. Shred will remain in fifth place, but oh my gosh, he's already up the inside of Truth, and it's looking a little bit touchy there, a little bit naughty between them. I think he ends up taking it. The Truth in trouble though. That slows him down enough that he's under attack by Wid. Wid will tuck in behind him though and let him remain where he's at. So the Truth loses a position to Shred here in these GR3s. How hard is it to go from GR4 to a GR3 in the same track, same day, just a couple minutes between the two?
It's difficult because the braking points are easy to adjust. Just the whole feel of the car is going to be different, right? The way it slides for the corner, the way the front grips in, especially since everyone's able to adjust their aero. Everyone is probably turning in a lot better than their completely stock aero counterparts, right? That's a huge, pretty much the meta for aero tuning is to increase the front aero and keep the rear aero the same, or put it down a little bit lower so everyone could have a better turn in. So, it's difficult, right? Because you are able to turn in a lot more, hit these corners a lot faster, but you have to brake a little bit harder.
That's true, and I, already noticed a couple of things that look like just a surprise at the turn-in ability of the car, and people getting caught out there on the throttle as well. Did see Wid make a pass on the Truth earlier, but the Truth not making it easy for him to hold on to it. He's remaining all over the back of him, which makes sense because he's got Ryder all over the back of him. So he'd really like to get that position back. He's got an aggressive AMG all over him. Ryder up the inside already, though, going to turn 4. And, I thought they touched, but they didn't. They're okay. Ryder takes the position away. So Ryder up in his 6th. The Truth has gone from 4th to 7th in the span of 2 laps here, 2.5 laps for the Truth. And it's not starting out great for him in the Ferrari.
Unfortunately not, but if we go a little bit further ahead, Rusty is right behind Shredder, 4/10. He probably not making a move going to turn 1, but he is in the position to set it up going into turn 4 down the 2nd straight.
We'll see if he can. For sure. I do wonder what's up with the Truth. Do you think maybe it's just a matter of trying to get heat into those front tires? Like you said, it's a mid-engine car, so he's got the advantage that the front tires will be saved a little bit, but it also means that they will stay cold a little bit longer than everyone else's. Maybe having some turn-in or initial bite issues with braking.
It could be, but especially at the beginning of the race, right? Momentum matters so much. You gain positions, you tend to gain even more positions. You start losing positions, you tend to lose a lot at the beginning. One little interesting tidbit is that typically with the mid-engine cars, though, is that you will need to run a little bit higher rear downforce than your front-engine counterparts. So because of that, typically, I think we're going to see Truth get a little bit of a top speed deficit to Ryder, Wade, everyone else in the front of them that's running the front engines. But as I say that, Truth is a little bit behind of Ryder. Just is keeping Ryder really honest. He could possibly make a move going into turn 1.
Yep, I see him all over the back of him there. The pass was done, but wasn't open and shut case, and maybe there was a mistake there because they were right behind Wid, but now Wid is 2.3 seconds up the road from them, and I know he's got pace, and I know that Ryder was trying to make a pass, but I don't think he lost that much time. I think something maybe happened that we missed, unfortunately. So that train broken up there. They are out of the slipstream of the cars ahead of them. Wid, Rusty, and Shred, at the very least, are all 3 running together right now. Yep. Behind these 2, we've got Ando not far behind, Hot Air and Corridor, also kind of obviously the same order that we saw them in at the end of the sprint race this past race. Nothing has changed between these cars here, but another opportunity for them to do a little bit better than they did in the sprint. Same track, different types of cars though, and some people specialize in different categories. Might be better at GR3 than they are at GR4.
Yep, it's definitely possible, right? I feel like I've always been better in the Group 3s than the Group 4s, but these drivers could have the same affinity. Some of them could have the opposite affinity, right? Some drivers prefer the slower Group 4s where it feels a lot more mechanical to drive since you have less downforce, and Ando, Air Corridor, Jeffrey, they're the main thing that's on their minds is just try to move up, right? They had a bit of a bad sprint race, so throw that out of their heads and just focus on getting as many points in the future race as possible.
Yeah, that's really all you can do. Speaking of bad sprint races, all spin there for Jeffrey as we stay on him on the camera. But I was just mentioning Jeffrey already 12 plus seconds back, and now it's 14.3 seconds after that big slide that we just watched. So he's in last place. It's a long race. We're 5 laps out of 29 in, but it's hard to keep up and hard to catch up with everyone when you're already on the back foot like that. Stig on the softs, and he's making them work for them. He's running away 3 seconds already to Oak behind him. So Stig going with the strategy of get the fastest tire, use that clean air to absolutely run away from everyone, and then manage the pace and try to hold on to positions once he swaps to the medium tire. Like you said, we don't think we'll see the hard in this race, so I'll go ahead and assume that he's going to jump on the mediums.
Yep, not only Stig, but Oak right behind is also on the softs. These front two are decided to take the alternate strategy, right? Everyone else I'm looking at down through the grid is starting on the mediums, so Stig and Oak will enter the pits a little bit earlier than everyone else. Like I said, we can expect them in the pits around lap 12 to lap 15, and they're going to take the mediums to the end. And, I like this strategy. Stig took the bold decision. He knew he was in the in the front, and as you said, he had plenty of clean air. So instead of keeping the soft into a later portion of the race where he may be fighting cars, he decided to get the maximum advantage of the softs right here, right now. And right now it's paying off. 3 seconds ahead of Oak is significant. I didn't think we would see such a difference between the two drivers, but Shredder is close behind with the mediums, only 1.4 off of Oak. Wood is also really close. I think he's hungry. I think he wants to move up as fast as humanly possible. But Wood currently doesn't know what tires the guys in front of him are, right? For all he knows, Stig and Oak are also running on the medium, so in whatever case, Wood's best interest in mind right now is just to gain positions and get as close to the front two.
That's right. I mean, he might be able to guess on Stig, right? Based on the fact that Stig's 4.5 seconds up the road, almost 5 seconds up the road. Oak, however, only just like in this last lap was even able to get far enough away to break the toe, and he's still not getting away from them quickly enough. In fact, he's lost time to Shred already. So a big key of this is to break the toe. If you're going to be on the soft tire, you can't let these guys, stay there and just latch onto you and ride up the hill with you, right? You've got to leave them in the dust. And Oak isn't doing that. It's now less than a second is the gap. Oak has lost a ton of time in that second sector and is continuing to lose time up the hill to Narano, to Oak. I'm sorry, to Shred in third place. So he's lost that entire advantage of having soft tires, and now they're 6 laps old.
Yep, Wood was thinking of going for a move there, but he doesn't. But as you said, right, Tread and Wood are really close to Oak. He's struggling in that BMW. The BMW typically has a bit of a weaker rear end, has a little bit less traction than what most of the other front engine cars have. But
Right.
it's I think Oak is just trying to maintain his position right now, right? The second he lets Shred and Wood goes away, he's on the complete back foot, and the podium is pretty much not in reach anymore, right? Oak needs to stay ahead by the time he goes into pits. That's the most important thing.
He absolutely does. He's got no choice. And even then, I just don't see him coming out of the pits and being able to maintain his position. Not with these two cars as close as they are. But as we say that, Wid making a move on Shred, and he manages to actually make that work out very, very well. Loses minimal time. Oh, that's Oak almost out. Almost off track there. He lost the back end. So easy to do in that corner. He manages to hang on to it, but to your point, you got less traction in the rear of that BMW. I think I had mentioned how tough it must be for those twin turbos to spool up on you when you're coming out of these corners, and he's not doing great on the soft tire. I think they're overheated for him. I think he's losing them. The front end, look at those front tires. They're not working out. Now Stig is 5 seconds away, and now Wid looking to make a move around the outside into turn one. He's having to defend against a driver on medium tires. Oh, It's not looking great. He's off his line. He's sliding all over the place through the center S's. He's lucky to keep it on track and to keep it within the track limits, but he is fully under attack here. Wid not playing around. Wid does get the position. Oh, no, he doesn't. Not quite yet, but he knows he has to. If he loses out, Shred is right there. Wid cannot let this go and will not let this go. He's going to go through Shred, trying to go through with him. They've got Naranjo hanging around the outside. They're trying to leave him out to dry. And finally, what was that, like 3-4 corners? Finally, Wid able to make the move. Shred follows through on him, and unfortunately, Naranjo sits now in 4th place on worn soft tires behind him.
I was half expecting them to go 3 wide for a little bit there, but, you know, Shred decided to stay patient. I don't know if I would have done that, to be honest. I think that was very good insight with Shred, and that speaks to his experience, right? I think I would have gone 3 wide and possibly, you know, let myself get hit off the track, but Shred decided to not let that happen, and he takes 3rd. He was comfortable. He was happy, content taking that position, which I think is the right call right now. I think Shredder got that move done fairly easy without having to use too much fuel or too much tire, and, you know, it's all about trying to keep that podium spot. You know, Shred may not have the pace to outright win this race, but he definitely has the pace to get a podium, and I think that's his target.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some patience there. There was probably a little bit of I'm here in case I get an opportunity as well, which is part of why I think Wid never backed down from trying to get that position. Obviously, it was not fast for him to go side by side with Naranjo for like 3 or 4 corners, but with Shred right there on your bumper, you really can't back out of it, because now you're gonna, not only are you not gonna gain this position, you're gonna lose that position to Shred as well. He had to make that pass, and so he stuck with it until he did. Where's Stig?
Sorry,
you're good. 5.5 seconds up the road. Gone.
Yep, and well, but his tires are starting to look a little bit worn. That front right being less than 50%, and you know, this is going to be the probably the, you know, the dying laps of his soft stint. I think he's going to really just try to push out as much pace as he can on these softs. You know, obviously make sure he doesn't spin, and try to get into the mediums as quick as humanly possible. Get some fresh rubber, and, you know, continue on. This pit stop is fairly long. It's 22 seconds, allegedly, just for the animation to go in and out alone. And, you know, with the swapping of tires, with the refueling, it could easily go over 30 seconds, right? So no one here wants to do a two-stop race. And yeah, I think everyone is pretty much in line with fuel. Some of these cars are saving a lot more fuel than others. That could just be to the nature of the cars themselves, but, you know, some of them are making the conscious choice of short shifting. I say that Ryder and Rusty, 5th and 6th. Rusty is really good on fuel, at least compared to the cars around him.
I wish I could go straight to 5th, but my keyboard isn't working. So we're gonna slide up to Rusty here. Rusty is doing really well on fuel in that Aston. Are you as surprised as I am to see how many Aston Martins are on track right now? We have 4, I think. The only other car that has a multiples is the GTR. There are 3 GTRs on track as well. All 3 of the 3 last drivers, actually. And as I say that, I realize I'm watching a battle here between Rusty and Ryder. So let me get to that. That was Ryder, I think, making that pass on Rusty, wasn't it? I think they were in 6th place before, now in 5th.
Yep, starting the middle sector, right, going up the hill on the long right-hander. Ryder took the inside because Rusty went wide on the apex, and since Rusty was forced onto the inside of the next corner, Ryder was just able to hang around the outside and then take the inside for the next corner, and there was really nothing Ryder could do. But Rusty is trying to come back on him, really stuck into that toe. He may be trying to use some of that fuel that he saved up to try to retake that position. Doesn't look like it. Got a little bit understeery going into turn 2. I think Ryder has this position in the bag. I think he's, you know, licked the stamp and sent the check out. I think he's good.
I think for now, for sure. Like you said, though, Rusty has a significant amount of gas over him. I mean, it's noticeable, right? As I go back and forth between the two of them, so that definitely matters and will matter when we start seeing people pit in the next couple of laps here. I think you said the mediums will probably go to about lap 14 through 17, but we got folks who are on soft, so we should start seeing the soft runners pit any minute now. I'm surprised they've lasted this long on them, quite frankly. But
Yep.
I go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, we also have to take in consideration, right? These sauce were being used on full tanks, right? So that does cause a little bit more tire wear, a little bit more tire heating, and leads. As I say that, Stig is going into the pits right now on lap 11. He may start a chain. We'll see if Oak follows him. He doesn't. Oak stays out with worse tires, admittedly, but this could just be trying to keep keep the medium set into a better shape going into the second half of the race.
Yep, you got to follow your strategy. Sometimes you do jump in when you somebody else jump in and try to cover them off, but I don't think that honestly that Oak is really in a fight with Stig anymore at this point. We saw that he absolutely did not have the pace to beat him. He has to know that Stig is at the very least on the mediums, and he couldn't beat him on the softs, but Stig was also on the softs. So I don't think that he has to worry about when Stig jumps in and trying to cover him off or anything like that. Stig, meanwhile, comes out 10th in clean air. He's got 8.7 seconds to Ando. So once again, lucky guy, he gets to just hot lap, but he comes out on softs. Do you think he's gonna do two stints or no? It wouldn't make sense.
Well,
I don't think
he's
he meant to
forced
do
to
that.
now.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to come off on the softs. He's gonna have to pit again to take the medium tire, and he's gonna be kicking himself having to do that. If the softs went 12 laps for you, 11 laps rather, the mediums could definitely have gone the rest of the distance. So I don't think he meant to jump out on softs again. Ugh.
It's really unfortunate if he did that by accident, because that second pit stop is basically a drive-through
Brutal.
penalty for him.
It's brutal. Yep. That's hard. Oak now in. So Oak just took the one extra lap and is now in, and he's gonna come off of his softs and probably put on the medium. So that gives Wid the lead on his racing mediums. Now, Wid with the lead. Obviously, he's gonna have to pit, right, to get on the soft tires. So we'll see where he comes out when he does that. But right now, he's finally in a place where he's not fighting. I think he's been battling this whole race so far.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's just the nature of how this reverse grid causes the race to unfold. Wade was started in what, 6? Yep, because he finished in 2nd, so he started in 6th. So he had to fight his way up. Obviously, he didn't have to fight his Stig because he went into the pits. But yeah, Wade is now the essential pole leader, or the essential leader for the medium stint runners, and Shred is close behind with only 3.5 seconds. Ryder made the move on Rusty, I believe, 3.6 behind Shred, and then Rusty falling a little bit away from Ryder in 4th. While I say that, Truth is getting closer in 5th.
Yes, he is. So we might see a pass for position here, and maybe some sort of fighting between the two of these drivers. They are teammates, of course, so they might want to try and go get Ryder up ahead, but they're not teammates in this championship, from what I understand. I believe Truth has his own crew, and Rusty is not in that crew, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's the case. I don't quite remember.
I don't quite remember either.
But I think regardless, even if they are on the same team, they have a lot of respect for one another. They've raced each other for quite a long time at this point. So, I think it's just going to be a simple duel, just to have some fun, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what else is going on track here? We got Hot Air and Corridor running together in 6th and 7th place. Ando behind them. Ando was leading this pack at one point. He was ahead of these two, so something happened to Ando, and I don't think we ever caught it. But Ando now sits in 8th place behind those two. The Stig in 9th, obviously, though, we saw him pit, so that makes sense that he's back there. Jeffrey continues to bring up the rear. He's 15 and a half seconds behind Stig. And then he's got Oak Naranjo behind him coming up, who also just pitted to take a fresh set of mediums. Stig, I guess he's decided to run those softs out as long as he can. It makes sense to me. Even if it was a mistake, you might as well run the fastest tire as long as you can, and maybe do just like a last lap on the mediums. What do you think?
Yeah, at this point, that's the only way really to salvage from that mistake. It happens to everyone at least once or twice, you know. For all we know, this could be his actual strategy, but considering the pit loss time, I'm pretty sure he just accidentally, you know, his finger slipped, hit the wrong button, and he had to put on a second set of softs. But yeah, the only way to really minimize this blunder is just to run it out as long as humanly possible, and hopefully only have to do one lap on the mediums.
That's right. That's right. It's the only thing that's going to salvage it at this point. We got word from our producer, McNaughty, that the Truth and Rust are actually teammates in this championship. So they'll probably be kind to each other as they chase after Ryder. That's not what we want to see. Do we want to see kindness on the track, Hover?
Well, as long as the not kindness doesn't cause a steering ticket.
Right, right. You were like, well.
That causes more headaches for different people. But yeah, I mean, of course, I think they will be battling out regardless, especially in this kind of weird no man's land, right? I don't think Rusty admittedly has the pace to catch Ryder 2.6 ahead. And, you know, the Truth is 4.7 ahead of Javier, so yeah, they're going to be in this weird little no man's land where, regardless of what they do, they can't really push ahead, and they're pretty safe from behind.
Yeah, not unless Truth can try to get up there and maybe start giving Rusty a couple of strategic bump drafts, but I don't see that he's even really staying caught up to him. To be honest, that gap staying around 1 second, so not quite out of the slipstream, but not getting a huge buff either from it.
Nope, and his rear tires are looking a little bit sketchy. Not exactly the condition you want to see them in a rear engine car, but you know, we are getting to pretty much the beginning of when we expect these medium runners to go in, so hopefully the softs last a little bit longer, especially with the lighter fuel load.
That's right. And you know, he's got more tire wear back there, but also he's still got, you know, he's gonna have the weight of the engine back there to add traction. It's just funny that it's also the reason why he's got the tire wear, the additional tire wear, right? Weight of the motor back there, and like you said, probably running I think you said higher rear downforce on that car as well. Should help him. Should help even out the fact that his tires are worn out. But
yeah, well, not too much higher, just higher. Oh,
what are you seeing? Got Rusty in. Rusty into the pits. He's going to come off the mediums, not to the soft. So this is the first of our medium runners now pitting. This is lap 16 that we're seeing that. And you can see just how long it takes for him to get into the pit lane. And then if we can stay with him here, you'll see the pit exit. No fuel needed in this race. Everyone seems to have confidence that they're going to make it on gas. I don't think we've seen anyone even take so much as a splash. And sure enough, Rusty out of there and just making his way out of that long snaking pit lane. This iconic track. This track's been around since the 40s, I believe. Yeah, since
I have no idea.
19 Yep, since the 1940s, yes, and it's had many iterations since then. So it hasn't always looked like this, but it has generally been a technical winding track right around here, around this lake, with a lot of elevation change, and so it hasn't lost much of the character that it had from the very beginning. Just a super iconic Formula One track here.
Yep, as we see that, we see Ando being bunched up with Corridor and Javier, but Ando goes into the pit lane along with Wood.
That's
Stig is
right.
right
So's the truth.
behind. Yep, and Truth. Stig right behind this little, these last few runners on the mediums. I hope he doesn't get caught up, but he should end up ahead
He'll
of
come
Wid
out
by
ahead
the
of
end.
Wid. Yep.
Yep,
There's Wid
mind
in the
you, that's
shot right there that we saw. Yeah.
yep.
So
That's
that
mostly
brings. Sorry, go ahead.
That's mostly because of the sauce, but yeah, Wid is out. I don't think he took any fuel at all. And yeah,
That's right. He comes out, and yeah, that is because Sig was been on the softs, but unfortunately now he's got traffic. He's got traffic on worn mediums, so he comes out ahead of Wid. And those tires are still going to be fast for him, but he's got traffic ahead of him, and he's got to hope that they're going to pit this lap like all the other medium runners. But if Corridor stays out again, or Hot Air stays out, I mean, look, he's all over the back of them. He knows he needs to be going as fast as he possibly can right now, as Witt has come out on those fresh softs, and he's unable to. Unfortunately, he's being massively held up here, side by side with Corridor, trying to decide: do I fight this guy? Do I try to make passes? What do I do? Do I hope he's going to pit? Because he is, oh man, he's got so much more pace than them. And this has got to be super frustrating for him. He came out in clean air. He was doing great, and now looks to be stuck behind these two cars here. Hot Air stays out. Corridor in, Hot Air out. The Stig did get a little bit of a tow up the hill. He's going to get a little bit more from Hot Air, but there's Wid also in the frame that we saw, so he's not far off, and he's on fresh tires. There's nothing Stig can do here. He's a sitting duck.
unfortunately, yeah, it's just that blunder, getting onto the softs, and I don't know what I would do for Stig. I feel like looking at the gaps behind, right? If he pits right now, he's pretty much going to the back of the pack, and he would have to fight all these guys again. Most of them are on softs on
That's
a
right.
set of mediums, and that's just not going to be really worth it. So I think he still has to just stick it to the end with these softs as long as he can. It's just very hard for him to recover from this mistake.
It's gonna be super hard. Meanwhile, Wid just dropped the purple first sector, so Wid going faster than he or anyone else has gone on the track behind him. It's only a 5.6-second gap right now. The Stig's still stuck with Hot Air, literally stuck behind him, watching that gap go down by tons and tons of time. And he's got to hope that Hot Air goes in now. He can't pit now, like you said. He's just gonna have to fight everyone again. But if Hot Air doesn't go in, where does he go? Hot Air is gonna go in. He's jumping into pit lane, but he held Stig up massively for 2 laps. And so now the Stig just has to run away. You can see Wid in the background there, way closer this time around. He stays in the frame way longer at that same view that we saw him before. 4.5 seconds now is that gap. So to your point, all Stig can do is go quick, right? He's probably not gonna get this position or keep this position from Wid. Might as well not even fight him when he shows up. Just let him pass, because you still got Shred there in 3rd place that you maybe can try to beat. He's 10 seconds behind Wid. Of course, Stig doesn't know that. It's not long enough though. It's not enough for him to pit and take mediums and still keep even that position.
Nope. That's just the nature of this track, right? There's some tracks that have very quick pit stops. That one that comes to mind is St. Croix. That has an oddly very quick pit stop, but yeah, just here, not much he can do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep,
I can't
not
really say
much.
much about that.
Second through fifth, none of them are more than like a 30 seconds apart altogether from him. I mean, Truth is 23 seconds behind him. Even Jeffrey is only 24 seconds behind him, though Jeffrey still owes a pit stop. He's still on those same old medium tires. I don't know what he's waiting on, but Jeffrey's still on the old mediums in seventh place now. So he doesn't count. He's gonna have to pit. But Naranjo, he's 26.5 seconds back. I mean, there's just the whole field practically is right here. Mind you, I didn't realize he had a three-way battle going for eighth, by the way. But the whole field is all within one pit stop of him.
Yep, as you say that, Ando goes onto the outside line. Oak tries to defend on the inside, but with a weaker tire, does Ando break late? He goes on the pace. He spins. Corridor goes past. Ando makes the blunder of braking on the grass,
Oh
spins his
no.
car around.
I can't get a
Corridor
good
still...
camera angle on it for some reason.
No worries. Corridor is still behind Oak. As we say, replay.
Where's Ando? There's Ando. Yep, gets two right hand wheels on the grass there, and that just sends him all the way around. He's super lucky not to slam into the wall, just to spin there. We do have damage on. It's not heavy damage, it's light, but it matters. So Ando gets away with one, sort of, but that puts him in last place by 4 seconds. He is on the soft tire, so he may be able to catch back up to Hot Air. Hot Air also on the soft tire, though. It's Oak. The Oak's the only one on the medium there, and he won out in that whole battle, which is funny. Then you got Corridor also on softs. Sorry, go ahead.
Wade is currently closing down on the lead. 1 second separates the two. Wood is just able to really run that car out with the softs better than Stig. Obviously, Stig has been on those softs a little bit longer, right? A little bit less than half on the front right tire, while Wood still has it relatively fresh. But I think soon we're gonna see Wood pass here and take the lead. And yeah, I think Stig is only really gonna go backwards from there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on board with Wid right now as he goes hunting for the Stig, getting closer every single corner. Now, Stig can still defend, but like I said, I don't think that that's going to help him. He's going to get passed regardless, right? Like there's nothing that changes that, and by defending, the only thing that he'd do is back himself up into the other cars on track and lose even more positions. So, it behooves him to get out of the way and let Wid pass, not defend, and try to get a tow, and hope he can do the same thing when or if Shred catches up.
Yep. Yeah, Wid is right behind him. If Stig pits right now, the only person he'd be ahead of is Jeffrey, and you know, it's just not. And he put up the blinker. He puts up the blinker. Wid is gonna make an easy move down on the inside. It's not even gonna be a fight. It's just gonna be a let by. And he does it. Able to get into the first apex first. Makes the move clean and smooth.
So Stig lets Wid by, as predicted, decides, I'm not going to fight you. Let's make this easy. Like you said, if he pits now, the only person he comes out ahead of is the person who is in dead last place, which is Jeffrey, who just pitted. He took his racing softs. He's 53 seconds behind Wid. So just a little bit behind, or a little bit less than that to the Stig. But then Ando's 34 seconds back. How do you know what the pit delta is? I know you still got to stop, and you got the animation of changing tires, which is about what, 2.5 seconds?
Yeah, roughly. I think with his expected pit delta, I don't think he'll get any feel. He actually might, looking back at it now, he may come out around Corridor. Because I don't think the pit delta is going to be around the 30-second mark, but it's definitely not going to stay in second. I'll tell you that much. But
No,
yeah, he may.
No, for sure.
He may come out around Corridor or Hot Air.
Well, that would be nice. I guess that's all you can really ask for at this point, is that he comes out in the points. still, or at least top 10. I think everyone gets points in this championship, don't we?
I believe so. I say that as Stig does go into the pits.
There
And
it
yeah,
is.
he's going to
Lap
go for the
23.
mediums. Softs are really worn down at this point, so yeah. I think I think this is the good move right now, and we'll see where he does pop out. Still not, oh, finally at the pit box. Switching it
Finally there.
really quick. And
And
now,
it does look like everyone gets points. So you get points up until 16th place. So regardless, he would like more points than fewer. So let's see where he comes out. I think that's Corridor right there in that orange livery. So you might have been right. I think he's going to come out in 8th place or 7th place, rather, behind Corridor. Where's Hot Air? Oh, he gets passed by Hot Air right last minute, but he's got fresh tires on versus Hot Air's somewhat worn softs. They're not that worn out though. They're actually still pretty good. Stig may get him on pace, may be able to stay patient and just try to get him when those softs do get a little bit more worn. But right now, he's come out in 8th place, and he's going to have to show some patience.
Yep. He could have had a move there, but, just not far along enough side to go for a late break around the outside. As you said, a lot of the guys in front of them, they are on softs, but they're not very worn down. So I think it's going to be mostly just, just trying to stay patient and trying to, get himself as high up as he can. I think 6 could be in the cards, just based on his driving performance in the first stint, but I don't see him going much further.
Could be. We got a battle for P3 here between Ryder and Rusty. These two have been going back and forth. We've seen Rusty in front of Ryder, Ryder in front of Rusty right now. They're both going at it, both on worn softs, though Ryder's look a little bit better. He's in the back, though. It's easier to defend than it is to pass. So can those fresh tires help him out? Or will they ultimately not matter? We've only got a few laps to tell. So he's got to figure this out. He's got 4 or 5 laps here, 4.5 laps rather, to make something happen against the S7R driver, Rusty Maggots, who sits in the last podium spot. What do you think? Predictions, Hover? You think he's got him?
Honestly, I think Rusty has it. He is in a very strong position right now. Even though his tires are a little bit worse, I do think the Aston has a little bit better top end, and the only real 2 overtaking locations, as long as, you keep it on the track, are turn 1 and then turn 4, where the top speed really matters. I think Rusty might have this. I'm not going to lie. Crossing the line, it's only going to be 4 more laps. I think Rusty might have this. He's going to defend like a lion, as Alonso said. But, I think he has this. He has the track position in these dying few laps, and I think the podiums are going to be Wiz, Shred, and Rusty.
I think so as well. I would like to argue that turn 1 and turn 4 are the only passing points. I would like to add turn 12, Yun Sao. It only the momentum only matters if you're trying to catch up to someone ahead of you or trying to leave somebody behind you. But we're in the last few laps here. The next car up, second place is Shred. He's almost 5 seconds up the road. There's nobody behind Ryder to give him fits as well. So he may be willing to sacrifice speed up the hill in turn 12 if it means he makes the pass on Rusty Maggots. So looks like he's trying right now to make it happen into the hairpin, and he does. He makes that happen into turn 5 almost easily there. That turn 8 rather. That was wow, that almost looked like team orders. I mean, you wouldn't have team orders between the two of these, but these two drivers, but that was so smooth. Wow.
Yep, Rusty goes a little bit wide going uphill on the right-hander, and he just allowed Ryder to go a little bit narrower and just get a very good exit going into the first hairpin of the sector. A lot of these moves are just working off one another, right? Working the first corner, getting alongside in the second corner, and then finally getting the position in the third, right? And these guys are very experienced in doing that.
That's right. This is one of those tracks where it's really only easy to pass if the person ahead of you makes a mistake, and it's one of those tracks where you have to very actively try to force mistakes, isn't it? Like you said, getting alongside one or two, maybe even three corners ahead, in an effort to throw your opponent off their line for the corner where you're actually going to make your pass. And so Ryder does that to perfection, and he seems to already be pulling out a gap ahead of Rusty, almost a second now between the two of them.
Yep. Just that's just Rusty having the worst tires right now. But I think Rusty overall is a little bit safe. 9 seconds ahead of Truth, and yeah, I think this is pretty much the finalized results, unless someone makes a mistake. But going down the grid a little bit, back to Stig in 8th. Less than a second behind Hot Ayer. This little fight for the position is not over yet. He could possibly get it.
He could, like we said, those softs are going to start getting really worn down. They are getting there. Granted, the soft has a decent pace over the mediums, but it's not insane. And Stigs are, for all intents and purposes, very fresh, very brand new mediums. It's got a very light tank of fuel, very light car. So there's a chance. He just has to have enough time, right? But he's less than a second up. He is pulling on Hot Air up the hill here. Definitely gaining time on him. Maybe not as quickly as he would like to be, but he's got two more times around to try and use that and take advantage of that. And maybe those front tires will also bite a little bit better than Hot Airs in the next coming laps.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely
only
eats another
two.
tenth out of him, right there.
Yep. 2 laps to go. Stig has to do everything he can to hit these corners hard and fast. But it's in the cards. It's not written off yet. High Ayer is not getting a gap. Now less than 6 tenths between them. That Jag is struggling a little bit on the front end, and yeah, Stig could do this.
That's right. Stig's got to remain patient, though. He goes a little bit outside of track limits there. Luckily, the game doesn't actually care very much at that point, so doesn't eat a penalty or anything like that. But you can see he's using every last bit of the track that he can, maybe a little bit more to try and catch up to Hot Ayer. He still has to make the pass, but he is catching him, and he's catching him fairly easily here. Corners like this, he's got to get a great exit here. Looks like he did. He really cut that apex well, able to hit the gas, just before he's even finished the turn, just straighten that Aston Martin out as much as possible to try to get up this hill, especially behind that big torquey Jag. It's actually got pretty good top end, but so does the Aston. Both very mighty around tracks like this.
Yeah, but this is the final lap. This is going to be pretty much his final opportunity to really. He slides off turn 2. My bad. And I think that might seal it, unless Ayer makes a massive mistake. I think he has it. I think he has enough tire and top speed to really, and staying really aggressive over that curve. I'm surprised he didn't lose the car there, to be honest. But I just don't think there's that many corners and that many opportunities. I think Ayer takes it.
I think that's it. We're gonna go with Wid right now. Just saw him passing through turn 12, and he is coming through the last couple of corners here. So beat those boxes and gonna apex it on this final left-hander. He's flashing the lights as he knows he's got this win in the bag. 10.7 seconds to shred. So Wid climbing his way up this grid order into a win, and a decisive one at that. Here comes Shred. Here comes Ryder in third, who did finally beat Rusty Maggots like we saw a few laps ago. Rusty will take fourth place there. The Truth sits somewhere in fifth. He is ready to cross the line now. Then we'll get Corridor in sixth behind him. Hot Ayer still leads Stig as they come to the line. It's nowhere near what it needs to be, the gap between them for Stig to get that position. So he'll take 8th place. Ando in ninth, and then Oak will come in 10th place, followed by Jeffrey in 11th. Man, Oak didn't have a great second half of the race at all, huh? I mean, first half wasn't going great, even on the racing softs, as we recall seeing, and getting on those mediums certainly didn't help. With that,
Yeah, unfortunately not.
not at all. Well, that's your race. That was a pretty good one, actually. Let's go back to the results and show those one more time here. Can you go over them for us again, Hover?
Of course, this is the final results of the split one, or the pro split feature race. Wid takes the win and advantage with Shredder 10 seconds behind, Ryder 15 seconds behind Wid, then Rusty in fourth, Truth in fifth, Corridor in sixth, Hot Ayer in seventh, Stig in eighth, and you see Wid taking the fastest lap. And then the second half, or I guess the last three finishers, Endo in ninth, Oak in the M6 in 10th, and then Jeffrey rounding out the grid in 11th in the GTR.
And that is round two, both sprint and feature race. We have interviews coming up, of course, with our feature race podium drivers, but we're going to take a short break before then. Let them gather themselves, get some water, get out of the car, go into Park Ferme, way up, all that stuff, right, Hover?
Yep, we will be back really soon, so just hold on tight so we can talk to the podium spots. Good job, everyone, by the way.
Thank you.
Hey guys, we're back and we have our podium winners here, podium placers rather. So we're gonna start these interviews. I'm gonna start with Wid. You won this thing, obviously. A bit of redemption from the sprint race, Wid, because you kind of lost that in the last lap there. For this one, you got held up in the first half for a good bit there. What were you thinking? Did you think that the win was still in it, or did you feel like I got held up too long? What were your expectations there?
I didn't think I was really held up that long. I knew I'd have to fight through some people, and I knew my car was really good at fighting and coming out of those slow corners quickly. So I wasn't too worried about it. I knew Stig was starting on softs. So as long as I didn't let him get too far away, I knew that the win was always going to be possible.
Nice. Yeah, and once he pitted and took softs again, you realized that he was going to have to pit again, and you ended up passing him on track anyway. He actually let you by pretty easily because he knew not to fight. So,
I was actually very confused. I didn't notice that he put on softs the second time. So when he threw up another fast lap in the 31s, I was like, well, did he do that on mediums? If so, I'm in a lot of trouble right now. So, but then he let me by, which I was also confused about. I thought we'd be racing, but yeah, and then the lap after that he pit, and so then I was like, it all came together. Now I understand.
It all makes sense now. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that is what happened. But I mean, for yourself on pace, on merit, I mean, you were there. You finished this race over 10 seconds ahead of Shred. I just want to say congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Congrats, Wid. Very good run throughout this entire 2 races. Did you have any? I guess how did you feel about your car selection going into Interlagos? Right, just with how much experience you've had with it so far. Did you feel comfortable going into this race with the Aston?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a good car. The the few corners coming out onto the long straights, it has really good acceleration. So as long as I could stick with people coming out of the corner, then I knew I'd be able to pass them before the braking zone. But other than that, I mean, my only concern was tire wear, as shown by the sprint race. Oh my goodness, Yagami just kicked my booty in terms of tire wear, that's for sure. Um, so the second race, I was a bit more cognizant of that.
All right. Well, I mean, you still managed to eke out a win at the end of the day. So congratulations on the win and good job for the two races tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Hover.
Thanks. Shred, second place, and you fought hard for it. You really did. I think at least in the first half, the second stint seemed to be okay for you. What was that drive like?
I saw Wid coming from the first stint because I knew he was driving through, and part of me wanted to fight with him and to think that I had pace next to him, running the same car as him. But then he caught up like a bat out of hell, and I had nothing for him, so I let him pass. And then when we were fighting Oak, I said, "Okay, I probably should help Wid because if I get stuck behind Oak, who is sliding around like he's in Initial D or something, then I'll lose time." So I bumped Wit up and I got around and I kind of just settled in. There was nobody really around me except for coming out. I got kind of close with Rusty coming out in the second stint, but I didn't have the pace to go challenge Wid. It is his car. He does drive IRL in that car. I don't think I've seen him drive any other car at this point. So it is his car, and it was my decision to change from my GTR to the Aston. So, it is what it is. But I'm enjoying it. It's nice that I wanted to drive a different car, and I'm learning, sitting behind Wid, seeing what he's doing.
Well, you did
Um,
great in it. That tag team against Oak was fantastic. You did what you had to do. We definitely remarked on it. Congratulations on the second place.
thank you.
Congrats, Shred.
Anything for Shred Hover?
I guess my only real because I mean you answered pretty much everything I had in my mind, but I guess one question I had to ask was, what was your thinking, especially in the feature race where you were, pretty solidly in second? What went through your mind when you were kind of in that no man's land where you were really far back from Wid, but comfortably ahead of Ryder? What was your thinking in those few laps?
Don't crash.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
would be my thinking
I
too.
was I was driving that race probably more sideways than forwards because I was wringing a neck on that thing so hard. My wrist hurt because I was just sliding everywhere because I was pushing so hard and I probably overdrove too much. But yeah, just don't crash. That's it. And I was kind of scared actually because I watched Ryder just drive up to Wid and then just drove around the outside of him like he was sitting still. And I'm like, okay, Ryder's on like nightmare fuel or something. Am I gonna have to like defend or something against his superior tire wear? But no, it was all good.
Well, either way, you were able to, manage yourself and get to a P2. So, congratulations on the result.
Thank you.
Yagami, we thought we weren't going to see you for the interview today, but I'm glad that you made it. Obviously, you had two great races. You made that pass over Rusty for third in the feature, but I actually want to ask you about the pass that you made to win the sprint race. Sir, where did that come from?
Well, I think I found some pace the second half of the race. I was technically giving up first place after he had 2 seconds ahead. And then by a split second, I said, well, 1.9, 1.8. I'm like, well, we'll keep going, right? Um, I noticed his pace was dropping pretty bad. So hopefully, I was thinking to myself, well, tire must have hit him. So I just want to look at my tires, um, and eventually it happened. So I didn't want to stay behind him because I was a bit struggling with my front right tire. But I think he had more wear on the front right tire. So I guess I took the um, the outside pass on also him. I want to say it on a few other guys, but yeah, I think tire was the main point for the sprint race on my end.
Yeah, well, you obviously put on a master class and showed why it matters because it did come down to the last minute. Yeah, fantastic pass. Congratulations on that win, and of course on getting a podium in the feature race.
Yeah.
Hover?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no,
No,
sorry, I was
I just
asking it to Hover.
yeah, whatever you want to say, Ryder. What did you want to say?
So yeah, for the feature race, well, I was having a hard time with the understeer. Had so much I couldn't keep up the pace. Um, Unfortunately, starting from P7, trying to work my way up, so I was having a hard time battling behind people. I couldn't pass them. I was losing so much time, given the fact that the Mercedes has a little bit of, well, I wouldn't say a little bit, quite a lot of understeer, given the downforce that we put in on the front. So it grabs better. But on this case, I thought it was good. I did good practices. I had really good times practice. I was surprised about my lap times with the fuel and wear. But yeah, tire wear on the front. What would I say tire wear? The understeer was pretty heavily on the Mercedes. I couldn't catch up anybody else.
All right. Well, I mean, you guys are all really well attuned to this because you guys all answer my questions without even me asking my questions. But yeah, no, Ryder, good job on that P3. You made that pass on Rusty, and yeah, P1,
Yeah,
P3, a solid night.
yeah, for sure. And so glad to be in the podium for the first time.
Congratulations now.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Wid. Thank you, Shred. We appreciate you guys for jumping in, or I think Wid already left, but thank you, Shred, for being here. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
For sure.
In a month. Got it. Heard. Well, then that next race, the one that Shred will be missing, will be at the Nürburgring, the Grand Prix circuit. Actually, no, I'm sorry, the Endurance circuit, which is both the Grand Prix circuit and the Nordschleife together, aka the 24-hour layout. We can't wait to see you there. That will be on August 10th, same place, same time. It'll be myself, and hopefully Hover can join me again for that. Hover, what do you think?
I think the Nürburgring is one of my least favorite tracks of all time, but I can't help but wait to commentate the next round. This has been a joy to be doing this for the last 2 rounds, and yeah, I think you'll see me for third round running.
Awesome. Well, we say thank you also to Trails End, our sponsor. Hit them up for all your custom construction needs. If you need templates for a new house or a new building that you need constructed, that is what they do. And you can catch this race again on demand at Sector 7 Racing's YouTube channel. Thank you again to McNaughty, our producer. And this is Tatsi saying good night.
Night, guys. Take care.